Hey everybody, Greg here with Gun News Now, and the big question today, and the question I keep getting asked by people is how many armed people were at the Twin Falls in and out during that whole tragedy? And the answer seems to be that we don't really know yet. We know of three definitively, and there are emerging stories of a couple others that I think are worth noting and talking about because, look, I'm from Idaho. I run the Idaho Second Amendment Alliance, a gun rights group here in the state, and I've done that since 2012. Idahoans are built differently. We are a different type of people. And honestly, and to some extent, I think if, places like California and Oregon, Washington, New York, and some of these other states would stop destroying the Second Amendment and letting their people defend themselves, I think you'd see a lot of Americans who just come and rush to the aid of others, who put themselves on the line and go out and they fight. But Idaho, we're it's just different here. I can tell you that. And man, we love our people, we love our communities, and one of the things that I wanted to cover today, just briefly in this video, is the number of armed people, because there's so much confusion, and the police have not, as of this recording, put out the names of very many people at all, and so it's making it a little bit more complicated and a little bit more confusion as a result. So let's talk about this just briefly. The first one that we definitively know about is Jordan Salinas, right? The guy who's famous now from the video and the silhouette and all that stuff. He's now talking to the media a little bit about his story and about his confrontation with the in-and-out killer. And so that's number one. We all know about Jordan, okay? Number two, Austin James. Austin is injured, was critically injured, and thankfully is alive and getting the help that he needs. Austin is a former cop, and he was also armed that day. He attempted, and we've put out an article that we can put in the comments so you guys can read more about Austin. But he had his handgun and ran towards the gunfire at first, and unfortunately came around a corner right where the gunman was, and right as he got around the corner, he was shot in the arm by a handgun. He drew his weapon, tried to fire, and did not have a round in the chamber, which he, still to this day, he doesn't quite understand, because he apparently carries with one in the chamber all the time, and for whatever reason, there wasn't one in there. But he was armed, went towards it. He actually pulled out his gun, tried to shoot the bad guy, and that's when he realized there wasn't a round in the chamber. So he was armed, and just a regular citizen. It is former law enforcement. That makes number two. Number three is a yet unnamed off-duty officer for the Idaho State Patrol. The name has not been released to the public by the police. We're not quite sure why. We're not sure what his condition is and all that kind of stuff. But he would be number three. A lot of people initially thought that Austin was the off-duty cop, and it took a little bit of digging, and I know we were talking to Austin and his dad and his family, and they're like, no, it's, he's a former cop, okay? So you wouldn't confuse a former with off-duty, right? The Twin Falls police would surely know that Austin is not an off-duty cop, that he's just former. So that makes three definitive people who were armed that day, and to our knowledge, and from what the police have said, the off-duty officer did actually shoot at the killer, okay? So that's three people we know that were armed. There are two more stories that we are digging into and trying to get better information, but because both of these people have said something publicly, we'll just tell you what their stories were, but just realize that we're still digging into them to try and get confirmation. There was a young woman who Colin Noir, if you don't know who he is, he's an awesome 2A activist, got his own YouTube channel. You can look him up. He played video, and I don't know if the video was with him directly, the interview, but a gal who was interviewed. And in these video clips that Colin plays, the woman says that she came around a corner and found a gun sitting on a case. And at first, when I heard that, and somebody actually told me this story prior to seeing the videos, and maybe it was during a live stream or something like that. But she found a gun on a case, and I'm thinking, well, that's weird. Like, who has a gun just sitting around on a case in the parking lot of In-N-Out? Like, that's such a weird thing to say. And then she talks about a white vehicle, and then it starts, I think, clicking like, oh, she might have come across the handgun that the killer had, and there is video of him going and switching and messing around and getting in his trunk and all that kind of stuff. And so what we believe happened based on her story is that she found his handgun, and at that point he would have had a rifle, but she found his handgun sitting on a gun case. And she says she picked up the gun and tried to shoot him, tried to take him out, but it was jammed or something, like it wasn't working. And so she put it back down and took off. If that story is accurate, that makes four people who, now she didn't go there armed, but she tried to use a gun to take out this evil human being. Okay. And then there's a fifth story. Again, this person posted this online, and so we're digging into it to try and figure it out. But this individual said they were walking with their dog, and they had they were carrying their 22, okay, on their side. And they were walking their dog, and they came up around by the dumpster. So where the Teslas were charging, there's a dumpster there. And they came up along there. And this person says they wanted to pull out their gun and shoot at the guy. But the problem was they didn't know for sure if he was the bad guy. Okay. Because no doubt that this person that was walking up heard gunshots, right? Heard probably multiple gunshots happening. And maybe they saw Jordan. I'm not sure. They didn't say in the post. But they said that they were armed, and they didn't want to be charged with murder for accidentally shooting the wrong person. And so they took off. And I think you actually see at one point the bad guy might have seen him and kind of ran towards him or went looking for him. But that guy took off and left, and said he felt horrible for not, he feels like he let down his community. And we're thinking, no, dude, like, if you don't know, then by all means, like, you don't have to engage in a firefight if you don't want to accidentally kill someone that is an innocent person. But he was there, armed, ready to go, ready to fight. Again, that would make five total people who were there, armed, engaged with the suspect, or wanted to engage but just wasn't quite sure. And I think he made the right decision. Like, if you don't know and you don't feel comfortable, then fine. Like, please don't do that. Right. Just incredible bravery by so many people, so many incredible gun owners who clearly are going, training. And that doesn't mean that people don't make mistakes. It doesn't mean that stuff happens and you just don't know. The bottom line is none of us should be judging any of the five of these people. They all went towards evil. They all went to stop a horrible, awful human being who was a freaking coward. So nobody should be judging the five of them for what they've done and what they tried to do or anything of that nature. But I just think, man, what an incredible story and an awful, horrible tragedy. You see, and this is just so often in these tragic situations, not just, mass shootings or anything like that. Just when tragedy strikes, you see a lot of people come together. You see a lot of people fighting for each other. You see a lot of people who just will lay down their lives to try and stop evil. And I'm just, I know gun owners are just so proud of these guys, these men and women, for doing what they did. Just incredible heroes. The Austin, when he got shot in the arm and he's bleeding out, his wife, who is a nurse, and her friend, Jared, he and Austin's wife rushed. They could have got shot. They didn't know, but they wanted to go save and make sure that their husband was okay, or that she wanted to make sure her husband was okay, and her friend was obviously there to help. But Jared and Connie went and helped and saved Austin's life. I mean, just so many stories of bravery and just absolutely incredible. But wanted to update you guys on what we've learned about the armed citizens there that day, and how many lives, we don't know how many lives they saved. It's countless lives. If he had been in a place like California or somewhere where very few people are carrying, or less chance of that someone is carrying, then who knows how many more people would be planning funerals right now. Our hearts, our thoughts, our prayers are with the victims, especially those who passed away and their families. To those who are recovering and in the hospital, and your families, we pray for you. We pray that one day we can figure out how to stop these evil people. And right now, you are your own first line of defense. You have to be ready every day, all day, to defend yourself from these evil scumbags. And anyway, so please be sure to subscribe to our channel if you've watched. We appreciate you guys checking out our videos, and we hope that they're informative and everything else. Until next time, take care. God bless.